Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I am here simply because of the London-bound, I think it was Air India. I'll find out. You can see the reflection in my, I don't know what they call them, daggone thing, chiffero cabinet, um, in the back there of the plane that just crashed in, what do they say here? Air India plane bound for London with 242 people on board crashed minutes after taking off from India's western city of Ahmedabad on Thursday, the airline and police said, and India's federal health minister said that many people were killed. You could go and look at the article. Matter of fact, let me bring you over there right now. This is out of this horrible rag Daily Mail. I'm not here just to highlight the crash, and my condolences to all the families who've been affected by this horrific crash. When you click on the video, it's truly, it will be a miracle. Anyone who survives that. It crashed into a doctor's hostel where I guess practicing physicians and maybe those also who were learning to be physicians worked, and they already picked up from the language of the article, from the hostel itself, 30 bodies. And I can't play the video for you because they really hound my presence on social media and through the comments, through everything. They do the same thing to your comments too. But there's something about talking, specifically about radiation and the effects thereof, that just, they don't want this information getting out. And as I've been reading right now, Rosalie Bertel's No Immediate Danger, she delves deeply into the military aspect of their secrecy, because since it is under military jurisdiction, the creation and the stockpiling of nuclear weapons, they consider all aspects of radiological reality a military secret. And anyone who works directly with nuclear, you are not allowed to give real information that is not approved of by them under pain of death. That is the consequence of speaking the truth about how this stuff is just intolerable on a planet filled with organic beings. But the military is just, they're insane. They're psychopaths. And they've enlisted all persons that they can in order to maintain their hegemony over nuclear. And you've seen, I remember Biden at a certain point where it looked like he was not going to win, obviously. He got out in front of the White House, on the White House balcony, saying, I support nuclear, as if that was going to, rally the nuclear industry to give him more money or ensure that he was reelected. And Trump recently has come out and said that he supports nuclear, and it also segues into the whole AI phenomenon, where Trump and his big beautiful bill, what is everybody like 5 years old suddenly? With that, it was signed into law. And so all the states, they don't have states' rights. They cannot do anything to legislate against this program that goes wherever it's told to go. It doesn't think. It doesn't think. Stop letting them scare you with their science fiction dramas, right? But it does as it's told, and it is there to reinforce censorship on a massive scale. Well, lo and behold, in order to run the AI, which requires tremendous energy, they decided we're gonna just use the old nuclear power plants, and and they got this whole, it's so detailed, but they're not legislating, but they legislated in Utah, or it was Wyoming, I think, where a privately owned nuclear power plant company is allowed to have their security force armed with bullets, with guns, and they can shoot anybody who walks onto the property. Period. That is extending this far beyond just military desires. But that AI, the soulless satanic elites, they are about it because it is so non-whistleblower in its intentions. It will never rat out on its creators. And we know those are just simply the great destroyers. And so there's this whole attempt by white people to just blame Boeing and thereby blame DEI programs. And when I went to look up the diversity of the Boeing company's, staff, it's mostly white men. It's like 0.7%, 0.7%. That's not 70%, okay? That's less than 1% of the staff of the people building these planes are black at all. And then shortly after I did that report, where I went to find out, okay, stop it with the blaming black people for everything going on in Boeing, they suddenly had this Indian woman who was like, oh, we need to, increase homosexuals and transsexuals in the, airline building industry. And I was like, yeah, of course. And in nuclear specifically, because also in nuclear, there's almost nothing but white men. And thereby this lie that all the races have just grabbed hold of fiercely. Oh, it's all about DEI. And then here, and when I was reading in the comments, they will once again say, oh, another Boeing. But they don't include all the Cessnas and the Pipers. There are more people being killed in air vehicles that are just private planes. Boeing doesn't build private planes. More people die that way than die in these larger, horrific, more terrifying to view crashes. And so down here, I have put a comment and it's not there anymore, but I just wanted to document. Daily Mail is so disgusting. They hate black people. They're so freaking racist with their concept, oh, the West made it in America, and this whole new setup, which gets people watching. That started with the women's basketball between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, where then the black people always take the big L, right? That's because nobody was interested in watching women's basketball. But now with Caitlin Clark, she got skills. That's good. I'm not mad about that, right? But they're using that in order to bump up the numbers of people who will watch it. So now they got all sorts of, like, Simone Biles. Stop. People watch gymnastics. But she had to come out really against Riley Gaines in favor of the trans sutured up folks. That was just so scripted. And Simone is just, in my firm conclusion, a full-on Satanist. She's been beguiled to the dark side, definitely. And then Daily Mail will have it up there, but everyone's going to have this crap up there because they've even got the presidents. Elon Musk has managed to make Trump look like he's just, regular, sane guy. How's that possible, right? The original orange Cheeto is now respectable? Stop. Hey, Trump is that little video with him and Bibi sitting on the beach sipping stuff. And then when you look at the lyrics of that little rap they did where they're celebrating mass murder. right? Genocide. You see, we don't, the lyrics were like, we don't have to hide in tunnels anymore. That's the Satanist thing they're doing. Underneath Gene Hackman's house, they found a whole series of tunnels. They are some weirdos. They're some friggin' weirdos. But they need to blame all of us for that's just what they do, what they've always done, right? Like overnight, any word about Trump being a pedophile, you can find the pictures that look questionable. And knowing Epstein far better than Diddy would have ever, that has all disappeared. Right? Well, let me show you what they do when it comes to just simply telling the truth. I am not the violent one. I feel for these people who've been incinerated, right? And faster than we are being by the radiation, but still the radiation is up in the skies. And this is a Boeing Dreamliner that was, I don't know if this particular plane was crafted in 2009, but I do believe it was. And Boeing built 1,000 of them, and they've been shipped all over the world. So 2009, if you are going through them skies over and over and over again, that's a lot of radiation you're also flying through. And it's going to have an effect. You cannot change the laws of physics to suit the latest lies coming out of whiteism. That's just not going to work. Those little atoms, there's thousands of different kinds. Some will evaporate up into the atmosphere, and then the planes are going to cruise where the most percentage of those are located, and they're going to ping against the fuselage, against the landing gear. They get on up and they call interstitial vacancies. I learned that from Rad Chick, Christina Consolo, and Lauren Murray, who did extensive coverage of the Wigner effect. And so as I read the entire article here, just horrifying. And I'm trying, it's a long article, but down here there's my comment, supposed to be my comment, but let's see what happens. Nope, they didn't put it there. Let's see if I could put it back again. You can see what I said. It's not only Boeing's going down, Cessnas, Pipers, and anything flying through those popping skies is on the, I even had to space it apart, hoping maybe they think I'm saying some cuss word. But it's clearly Wigner chopping board. And then here I go. I'm going to put it right back there. And let's see what happens when I go to my comments. Give it a second. Here we go. This is my comments. Let's go on up here since I'm logged in. I could have just hit back to the top, I know. Oh, right there, top. Okay. My profile. Let's see if it's there now. Nope, it's not going to be there. I know. They won't put that. They won't post that. Right? If I go back to the article and go to comments, go to newest, it's not there. When it's being posted, it'll show a second one that's just the same. It doesn't have the blue tint on it. So this comment is not being shown whatsoever. It's not there. Okay? Let me refresh. Go on down again. Oh, wait, I could just go up here to the comments. It's not there. It's not there. It would show up immediately because I just put it there and it's in the newest. But, you know, people are going to, when you read the comments, and I read some of them, folks are already blaming Boeing. And that just attaches itself to, oh, it's DEI, oh, it's the black people, just like with the other planes in Washington, D.C. that went down. And they were showing photos of the control tower, you know, people, and they just showed one lone black man. That was it, right? It's a setup. They know that they've done this. Martin Fackler, he confessed at the Asan plenary that they were going to cover up Fukushima. He said, should we? And what's happened? Where most of the die-off has happened on the West Coast. And thank you, brother True Seeker 24, because they hide your comments most definitively, right? For saying that Ananda Lewis also recommended mammograms early on. I've been talking about mammograms for years and years because it's radiation, it's waves of radiation. Only they smash your boob, causing significant damage to those fine little capillaries that are all throughout it, fine tissue, and then they send radioactive waves through it so they could take a picture. That causes cancer, right? And she also lived on the West Coast. And there was a comment that I removed your comment, sister, and my apologies for that. But they wouldn't let my reply be seen, which was that Ananda Lewis was diagnosed with breast cancer 7 years ago. That was way before any jabberoonie, because you have put forward the postulation that has been prominently featured. They won't post my comment about the Wigner effect, but they got all over the place about, oh, it's probably the jabberoonie dooney thing, okay? And so you said that, people are speculating that she was having some issues with having had the jab. Most of Black us didn't get that jab. And as she was diagnosed 7 years ago, she didn't get that jab back 7 years ago, right? That kind of coincides, well, it doesn't coincide, but 2 years after Fukushima, the World Health Organization said there'd be a 70% increased rate of cancers worldwide, right? But the pop off, the start was on the West Coast of the United States of America. Okay, so I'm just showcasing. Stop it with the not believing me. I do in-depth research, so I know what I'm talking about. I ain't making none of this up. And they just don't want you to hear a word about this, right? What causes this? It's vast. No survivors expected in Air India plane disaster. And this is even worse. And yet more people on the ground were killed by fireball when Gatwick-bound jet with 244 on board crashed into Medical College and exploded. Police say, wow, won't even allow consideration of every single viable, scientifically determined and proven factor. Wow. That's all I need to say. I didn't want to come back up here because I got so much to do. Please support me, especially as I'm writing this book. I don't have anybody to thank right now for your orders. And I need your help in order to just keep. I'm like you. I don't know how many. Like, I'm grateful. Oh my goodness, I'm more than grateful for Dr. Shi. But we're not rich people. And he has things he takes care of. I'm an adult who's chosen the right. He said, go get a job. But then I wouldn't be here for us. Right? And so I'm like, well, let me do what I'm most talented at, writing a book. And the books I write, ain't nobody written these books yet, especially one I'm writing right now. And I'm almost at the end. I'm at page 320, but I've been busy because I've been juicing, and there's all sorts of, I had to make more soap. There's more, all brands, the Silbar, the Nzinga, and the new black soap. So you could go to 25,000 year cycle and get your clean on, okay? All right. Let me get out of here. Let me not come back for 10 good solid days again. And again, my condolences to all those who were taken out by something. Sure, because there's planes taking off from airports all the time. There needs to be in-depth study of the level of just integrity that these vessels have to maintain in order to even propose flying in this reality, because at this point in time, it affects everything. There's more paragliders even going down, and their, apparatus is not really that structural. But it's the science, it's the physics of little fissioning particles that destroy the integrity of, I don't mean to be doing, I ain't doing none of that stuff. That just was automatic. And all praise due to Allah, and bow down to the one and only that you have been divinely guided to embrace with his name. I'm just saying that because some hand gestures, that Diddy was just like popping off a million hand gestures when he was first arrested. Nasty, nasty man. And so, yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but in terms of just how radiation has vast repercussions. Please share my videos, because they're terrified. They're terrified of losing authority, because once, and I've read different things where there's studies, once a group has lost authority, lost respect, people don't go back again. Then people don't, oh, well, I forgive you. Okay, no, because you were lying all the way through, and you knew you were killing people. And so for them not to even post my comment, I accuse easily Daily Mail of being, the worst of the G word, that, you're not supposed to, you're even not allowed to say that anymore, where you're just killing a whole organic human species because you feel like it. You don't want them around anymore. Who's the ones who do that all the time? Well, Daily Mail is definitely their champions, okay? And all the others who are up there right now. But I'm talking too much because I'm just making this at the spur of the moment. Straight Black Pride is our map to everything we desire, as long as it's goodness and freedom. Peace and blessings. Love you.